that part good. We're getting there. Maybe just for fun, we'll turn this into. I don't have it downloaded. Ugh. I need to get my organ sound on here. That worked pretty well. There we go. So proud of you. Oh, thank you. Vamos Argentina. Awesome. Hello to Argentina. Crazy. This is Tarkus from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Crazy Frog, Charlie Brown music, Bruno Mars. I am French. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, you can throw in song requests. I'll do what I want to do. Yeah, I love this piece. Yeah, we're starting early today. Blue, Young Kai. Hang on, I'm gonna be a little more organized today. Only a little, not much. So don't get too excited. There we go. I already saw the Rushy. We'll throw that on there. Nora Jean, Elton John, sure. Do you know who it is named after? Nora Jean. Isn't that Marilyn Monroe? Play something by David Bowie. Ooh, that I think we're gonna do very soon. Okay, I want to get to the end of this. Hold on, we're gonna finish up Tarkus. I love that. Play some Bon Jovi. We could maybe do Bon Jovi. We'll do. Let's see. What song am I thinking of? I'm thinking of a David Bowie song, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Let me grab it. It's not Starman. Moon Age Daydream. That's the song I'm thinking of. Sorry, my brain stopped working for 2 seconds. Greatest? Oh, thanks. Why don't you out the chat right in front of you? Have the chat right in front of me? Because then you can't see the piano. I'm an alligator. I'm a mama copper coming for you. I'm a space invader. I'll be a rock and roll bitch for you. Keep your mouth shut. You're squawking like a big monkey bird. And I'm busting out my brains for the words. Keep your electric eye on me, babe. Put your ray gun to my head. Press your space face close to my love. Freak out in a moon age daydream, oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Let's see what else we'll do. Everybody loves Rushy. We'll do that later. We is love. Hello. Where are you from? I'm from the United States of America. Yes, that's what I do for a living. Although these days I do some social media management too. But yes, the theory explained. That has been my career since college. National anthem. No, I'm not really a concert pianist. I did get my training in classical, but if you know anything about music in this, the money made in classical is nowhere near as much as in pop. So I've mostly been playing stuff like, you know, where I make my money is doing pop, rock, stuff of that nature. That's where it is. Yes? The funny thing is, this is a good time zone for time period for the Europeans, so we're gonna have to give them a dose of freedom. Oh, thank you. How long have I been playing? I've been playing for, I don't know, over 25 years. You don't need to spam. I was actually literally about to play it, and then you just spammed away. No need to spam. Revolutionary Etude would be fun. We'll mess around with Revolutionary Etude. I'll pull up a score, just so I have a little guide rails. Let me actually look at the piano for this one. I want to look at this part because I don't remember this part as well. There we go. Judge, but I think it's hilarious people asking for Rush E while I'm playing Revolutionary Etude. All right. Different key. That was interesting. I've never tried it in E. Fantasy Impromptu. Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom of the Opera is here. Do, 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 do. That may be too much fun. We may just need to do it. Beethoven. Turkish March. You're very good. I am shocking. I'm glad you're shocking. Beethoven, please. We technically just played some Beethoven, but I mean, you throw something out there. I need to write the Phantom of the Opera theme because otherwise I'm getting not the Phantom of the Opera. Chopin the Fifth? I don't even know what you mean by Chopin the Fifth, and you're borderline spammy. So I really don't know. Think of me. Wow, we have all of the Phantom of the Opera here. Angel of Music. I want the one though. We're not going to do the whole thing. There we go. Again, you don't need to say it over and over again. Oh, you're actually saying full sentences. I like that. We like full sentences here. Yeah, this dude is awesome. Andrew Lloyd Webber is heavily slept upon, I would say. Heavily slept upon. I'll say friend. Chopsticks? Okay. 'm just using my phone. Once this thing grows bigger, we may do more than just my phone, but that's the idea. Hey, Kat, Interstellar, Passacaglia. I'm guessing that's what you mean. That's not the right one. I learned this before. Nope, that's not the right one. Hang on. There we go. I found the right Passacaglia. We'll do Interstellar. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Oh yeah, 7 during a musical rehearsal. That's hilarious. Let's go for some Bach. I like some Bach. How many songs can you play? Infinite songs. Literally infinite songs. Lum Comparsa from Ernesto Lecuona. Ooh, a Lecuona request. I like that. You really need a new piano? There's lots of cheap pianos in the United States. That's sad. I don't know how the state of pianos are in India, but in the United States there's cheap pianos. They're so cheap that people just throw out perfectly good pianos. How about keyboards? Are they also expensive or just pianos? Whew, that's painful. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Thunderbox. That's sad. Alright, we'll do some more stuff. What do you need? I do not know where your gymnastics draw is. I'll look for it sometime soon. Passacaglia, we'll do that. We're getting some good requests here. wouldn't bounce up. Oof, that's pretty awful. All right, we're gonna get the Laquona going in a second. We'll do Happy Birthday song. Happy birthday, epic happy birthday. Do I ever get tired, hand fatigue? Not really any longer. I don't play enough to get hand fatigue. When I was in college, I play over 12 hours most days, and yes, I would get hand fatigue then. A lot of that though is just due to not working your muscles right. So you have the muscles that work in the fingers are going to be here and like here. Something d'autre. Yeah, in 12 hours it's just too much. It's too much. I mean, I think everyone who's interested in doing music should do more crazy times like that. I did not 12 hours a day I was playing. Yeah. So in college, I would wake up at 7. I would walk to school. It was about a mile and a half away, 2 miles away, so about 40-minute walk. I'd get there, and then I'd have classes, but maybe only like 3 or 4 hours of classes max. And I would practice in between every class, and then I would go into rehearsals, and I would not be done playing piano until like 1 in the morning, most of the times. So again, it was a lot. It was a lot, and probably only like 6 hours of sleep. So yes. I've seen a lot of, well, okay, I say I'm seeing a lot of Bella Ciao. It's just the same person over and over again. Again, do not spam. It's really annoying. You know, something that really actually helps is if you're trying to get me to see something, write it differently. If you write it the same way every time, then it's no, it's okay. Just you know, yes. Let's see. It's all good. Yeah, no. So I actually let me actually explain a little bit. So the first thing is yes, there is a Discord. I'm not putting the link in here because apparently it doesn't work. You can always go to my YouTube channel, and the link is right there. Outside the entire day, good for you. That's great. I'm a big proponent. I'm gonna be going outside. I'm gonna cut this thing right at an hour so I can go outside because it's 50 degrees right now. Which is insane. It's beautiful out right now. So let's talk just quickly about how this works. If you have there's a delay going on. So I'll see your thing, but I would say definitely. I found it. Okay, great. I would say definitely it does help to just write it differently, it doesn't look like spam then. We could have a real conversation. Okay, here's the thing about keyboards and instruments. You can learn on anything. Now, I'm not one of those people that say you should settle for anything. If you have the resources, upgrade Sniper Raptor. It doesn't sound like you do right now, so just be content with what you're doing. And then guitar, yeah, I can play guitar. In a friend's basement. It's not quite outside. I want to do the Lecuona. So it's 1 and this is a great piece. Classic Lecuona, we go major. And then we go to octaves because we got to make it hard. A nice piece. I like that. Okay, I'm happy to do comp team. Take your piano outside. I love it. Guitar, and I'm having trouble progressing through multiple songs due to uncomfortable hand wrist cramps. I've tried adjusting technique, but at this point I think my neck is too thick for me. Yeah, you just got a swole neck. Let me grab a guitar. I don't have my acoustic down here, because I do have some options. I do have some suggestions. Are you playing acoustic or electric? What I would say is, I'll play a little more Comptine in a second. Think about your thumb position. I'm not a I'm not a massive guitar player, but I can give you some ideas. Think about your thumb position. Is your thumb way up here? Is it right in the middle, or is it like somewhere else? Because if your thumb's more settled, then you basically can allow your fingers to grow longer by twisting your wrist. Now, here's the crazy thing about wrists. This looks crazy, right? But if you look at a lot of guitars, they do this wrist shape. And for a while, I was like, that doesn't look right. But then if you think about how your wrist works, this is really, really natural. This, on the other hand, is not. And you can feel it right away. Your tendons bunch up when you do this. So like if you're getting carpal tunnel, it's because you're typing like this or you're playing like this. So that's really what's going on there. So I would first adjust your hand position, try that more. And then the second thing that you're gonna really wanna do is check your strings. Are your strings overly tight? Are they really thick? So like my brother loves Stevie Ray Vaughan, the guitarist, and would use like 14s. So that's the thickness of the, someone's gonna have to correct me, the highest E or the lowest E. I think it's the highest E. And that it was too thick. The strings were too thick, and so it was causing a lot of tension. 9s, okay, that's good. So that's not the problem. That's not the problem. That's good to address. I'd really think about hand position, and then in the meantime, away from your instrument, practice feeling out your joints. Because my guess is something's going on either with your playing or something you're doing all day that's affecting that joint. Now, if it persists, if it's sharp pain, that type of stuff may need some medical intervention. Yes, nutrition does play a key for sure. So you may want to double check your diet if you're really getting a lot of cramps. Make sure you're eating your bananas. Make sure you're getting fruit and vegetables. Again, I don't know when we turn this into a health podcast. Health podcast. What am I saying? Health live stream, but it's totally true. La Campanella, page number 12. How difficult is shift from playing a ukulele to an electric guitar? That's a great question, and I'm going to play this Comtine. Just grabbing a ukulele. Ooh. So this instrument is the top 4 strings of a guitar. So if you want, you can actually just play chord shapes. Those chord shapes are actually the same chord shapes that are the top of the guitar. So when you go over to guitar, it's the same shape for just those top 4. So a G is that 3rd fret, and then you add in the other ones. The D is actually literally that same shape. So it really, really is a great way to start guitar. Your biggest problem is gonna be the same thing that the other person was asking about, Jug was asking about. That really is gonna cause the same, you're gonna get a lot of hand cramps, and then your fingertips are gonna burn because those strings are so much harder. And so after time though, it's gonna adjust to it. But I highly recommend, unless I have somebody who's already like 20s, 30s, and they want to just learn guitar and that's the only thing they want to learn, I tell everybody to start on ukulele before guitar. It's just a great way of doing it. That's a great thing. Can you recommend some intermediate classical pieces? Yeah, so that's Comtine du Unauthrit. If you look up Jan Tiersen, that name right there, Jan Tiersen. Sorry that it's reversed, but that's a really a great one to do. Intermediate classical pieces. I mean, that's a huge category, but some of the Chopin waltzes. Here's one of my favorites, Valse Brillante, Opus 34, number 2. Do I teach? I do. I don't play too much. Solfeggio isn't really fun to play. Gwynlord theme, I did the other day. That's actually a great one. I'll mess around with that. Perpetual Mobile by Penguin Cafe. It sounds like a family. That's an interesting description for a song. I'll pull up both of those. Perpetual Penguin Cafe. What's happened harmonically in the song titled Nausea by Season to Risk. Ooh, yeah. Nausea, Season to Risk. Yeah, we'll have to listen to it together, and then do that. That was. Hold on, let me give you exactly. 34, number 2. Alan, I disagree. I think the rags are really challenging. They're really challenging. Now, you don't have to play them as fast as everybody plays them, so that lowers it quite a bit. But I think if you like that music, then you should do it. But I've had a lot of students quit when they play a rag. I'm not gonna lie. Perpetual Motion. I'm looking up some of these songs. Beer Barrel Polka. Sure. Penguin Cafe. All right, we got that one pulled up. Let's get the Gwyn theme pulled up. That was kind of fun. The only thing I didn't like is the one that I had was a piano duet, although I think that's the best one, so I'm going to pull it up again because the piano duet's a little annoying to try to play forehand with 2 hands. That's an interesting one. All right. It's hard at the beginning. So here's the deal. The rags are hard just to get that left hand going. Once you get that left hand going, yes, you're totally right, Alan. The first step is really the hardest, and then after that, yes, I do. I play quite a bit of bossa novas. Anyway, we're gonna do Gwynlord Ascender, and then we're gonna actually listen to that song together and learn what's going on with it. Because we can extract some theory knowledge there. About this piece, I love that it's A, Yes, so good. I love all the Dark Souls scores. The a lesser composer would have moved away from the A at some point, but it just stays on this. And that allows for all the diatonic tension. That's just, oh, it's beautiful. We could definitely play pieces written by viewers in the future. I'd be super down with that. That is Gwyn, Lord Ascender from Dark Souls 1. For the books that you have, do they have the pieces by opus number, or are they just random collection of composer pieces? So it depends. I have gotten rid of almost every anthology book that I've had where it's a mixture, or sorry, compilation book that I have, where it's just a mixture of a bunch of different people's pieces. They are fantastic resources when you first start playing, but they tend to be the worst edited, and they're just not that useful, especially with the internet now, if you know what you're looking for. Now, I have a lot of Schirmers because they were cheap. They're not the best edited, although Josephine is quite good at editing. So like this, for example, is my waltz book. And yes, they're listed by opus number. So they just go through in order by opus number. My favorite, and I need to buy more of them, but they're expensive, is these, which these are the Urtext. Urtext is a term, though. It basically means like the real, all the Germans would have it, the real thing. And then this is a Henley, which just basically means that it's this edition is very accurate. It's extremely accurate. All right. I found you because of your jazz is easier than pop video. I disagreed with a lot of it, and so did a lot of people in the comments. Do you have any follow-up takes on that subject, or do you stand by it? Here's the funny thing, Ambidextroid. I kind of got the outcome that I really wanted to on that, which is here, and I said it in the video too. I'm not saying that jazz is actually easier than pop music. I'm saying some aspects of jazz are actually easier than pop music, and some aspects of pop music are harder than jazz. I think there is a common game that happens on the internet, and I'm trying to effectively push us in a different direction, which is, hey, E, the direction I want us to go in is mutual respect for everybody. Mutual respect for everybody, because this is what happens right now. Somebody sits down and goes, and you're like, oh man, they're so amazing, they're incredible, they're so good at what they do. And I have spent a lot of my time around different musicians, and jazz is really, really hard because the ability to improvise at that highest level is so much work. So much work. You have to know so many theoretical concepts at the super high-end level. Pop, though, has the same thing, but in a different way. You have to program to be at the top of pop. Both are really, really hard when you get to the extreme. So what we need to start realizing is different skills come from different genres and require different things. So when you see somebody and they're playing, okay, actually, hold on. This is a great back and forth example, just to try to clarify my point for a second. If I play one note wrong of that, everyone knows that I screwed up. Now, I'm going to go over 2, Fly Me to the Moon. I don't know where I am. Do you see how that worked? Which one was like, ugh, aggravating to you? It was the first one. Pop music has a incredible intensity around perfection. Whereas, again, the sentiment around jazz is wrong notes, whatever. And again, I know that's making all the cackles, all the fur in the back of your neck if you're a jazz musician stand up, because I know how desperately you guys work on things. I know from experience. But, yes, the way you said it just now makes more sense, but that wasn't my takeaway. I probably need to do a follow-up then, Ambidextroid. I get that. I just wanted to present this thing, and again, maybe I didn't lead with this enough in the video, and so that's where people got all over the place. Is there are different skill sets and different things that are presented. Now, another big one that people have problems with is harmony, and it was hilarious. I was giving a backhanded compliment to jazz musicians in jazz harmony, and people completely misunderstood it. So, jazz is for beginner. Pop and piano take real skill and rhythm. That's a hilarious comment. That is a hilarious comment. Okay, here's the thing. Let's say I want to get really a solid understanding of a classical or pop song. Again, let's go back to Don't Stop Believing. I have 1, 5, 6, 4. And other pop songs will have 3 in there too. Other pop songs will have 2. Then they'll have 5. All of these different chords. 7. I think the way classical presents harmony and the way pop presents harmony is more confusing than jazz. That was the point I was trying to make. And maybe this is where I would start with a follow-up video, is that I think classical and pop harmony, specifically classical harmony, needs to be reworked, the theory behind it, because it's super confusing. And jazz, actually jazz harmony is far less confusing than classical. Because this is what jazz says. Jazz says, hey, for the most part, we only got 3 chords. We've got 2, 5, 1. If I play a minor 7th chord, chances are it's going to be a 2 chord. Yes, I know it can be the 1 of minor, but we got a 2 chord. Then we have a dominant 7th chord, that's going to be a 5 chord. Then we go to C major 7, that's going to be a 1. Here's the other thing in Samedy that I think is hilarious about jazz. They don't practice what they preach in modern times. If you listen to Charlie Parker, for the most part, he's just playing a major scale and he's landing on the 1 all the time. If you talk to a lot of jazz musicians, they'll go, you shouldn't improvise that way. Or pentatonics. Jazz, really great, very up there. Jazz musicians use pentatonics all the time. Yeah, a lot of jazz is just 2-5-1s and just different ways to get there. That's pretty correct. I love that about jazz. And again, I probably presented it in a controversial way on purpose just to be funny and just to get clicks. But I will say this in a different way, in a more positive way. The beauty of jazz harmony is I only need to know my scales. If I know my scales, I can get all the chords. See, I wouldn't say it's a gross oversimplification. Here, let's pull up Ruby, my dear. No, sorry, not Ruby, my dear. Let's pull up, well, let's do all the things you are, okay? Classic jazz chart. Here we go. You say it's a gross oversimplification. Let's talk about this. Okay, so we have F minor 7. Now, we look to the right and we see a B flat minor 7, and we go, We can't quite do that there. So instead, we're going to go one more. We see the 5. You see the 5, you know you're in good shape. 5, 1, 5, 2. So we got 2, 5, 1 there. So now I know I'm in the key of A flat major. If I know A flat major, I'm in business. And then I get to my next 5 chord, which is G7. G7, 5 of C major. Now I'm in C major. Then I get to my next part. So yes, we have other chords happening here, but I'm telling you, if you know, okay, how about this? I'm gonna just get rid of any chord that's not a 2, 5, 1. You tell me if it still works. That literally was totally fine. That was all 2, 5, 1s. There's like 3 chords that aren't 2, 5, 1s in that whole thing. So anyway, I'm going to drop this because yes, this is a niche topic. This is my problems with live streaming. I'll get into niche topics and and get distracted. It is an oversimplification, but the difference is the simple layer. So here's a better analogy. Guitar, which is harder, piano or guitar? I think the simplest 6 chords, 7 chords, great. You have a different way of understanding jazz than me. Wonderful. That's totally fine. I don't understand why they ditched the cello. They just want to do, they wanted a bigger one. And that's totally fine. You can absolutely have your idea. The cool thing about jazz theory is you don't need to know much to be able to improvise with jazz theory. You just need to know some scales and some chords. All right, we're gonna play some music. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna keep on trying music that I have been writing. So we're gonna try a new thing here. Yes, that was the no problem, Ambidextroid. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, Insanity. That's completely. I wouldn't go that far. That's all the way over on the other side. Music can never be original. I don't agree with that. I think if you really think about it, everything is a recreation. Okay, Alan, the point I was making with the guitar, I'm getting all over the place. Sorry, guys. Guitar is harder at the beginning, but then piano gets way harder the more you go to a higher level. And so both theories get you there at some point. But I think classical theory is really actually harder all the time, and jazz theory is actually quite a bit easier at the beginning. But bagatelle and A minors. If he had called bagatelle and A minor for Stephanie, it would probably be a big hit by now. That's the real tragedy, is knowing how things are titled. You think that TikTok's the thing that makes us all like titles and clickbait and everything. Nah, Fur Elise, think about it. Fur Elise, big hit. Bagatelle in A minor. Gotta know how to title stuff. Alright, this is a song I'm making up. I have not written this whole song yet, so this is a little taste. The answer might be the same without. Try as hard as I could. I'm aware of the should. Should I change if I could without? What's the difference it makes? It all ends up in chains. A friend that is never around isn't a friend at all. If I never pick up the phone, do I exist? Maybe that's the play. Played it in my head, worked out just fine. Play Fur Elise in G sharp minor. Alright, Hans, I know you've been trying this for a while. Max Enforcer, Lost in Paradise. Number 8. Is that what you're saying? No hate. I like that song. Anything is possible. How do you transpose it so easily? Lots of practice. Lots of practice. Some jazz. Here, we're gonna try a little bit of the song. We need to listen to it first, though. And then we're probably gonna call it. Probably play one more thing after this. Okay, also very interesting. We could do let's finish with the nocturne. Everybody loves this nocturne. But let's talk a little bit about opus numbers for a second. It's just a way of categorizing them. So effectively, people didn't used to release CDs or recordings because they didn't exist. So what they would do is they would bundle music into a opus number, which would be basically an album release. That's really where albums come from. And so they would have this opus number, and sometimes they would keep them open. So it would be like they do an opus and they'd release like 3 or 4, you know, kind of like how we do now with singles, right? So they'd send out a couple published books with different things, but they wouldn't send them all out, and then they would bundle a few more in, and then they'd close it out at some arbitrary time when they felt like it was good. Maybe the composer stopped writing as much, whatever. For example, Chopin, Opus 9, number 1, Opus 9, number 2, Opus 9, number 3. So these first 3 were bundled together. Correct. Some composers never did that. Others did. Exactly. The other thing that you should roughly be aware of is, and some opus numbers are skipped because they planned on something and then they didn't do it, or it's lost to time. And then yes, yes, Wind of Change, you're super right. Some people, they never did opus numbers, so they use different systems. Mozart has the Kirschel number. Handel has HWV. Bach has, I can't remember Bach's, but yes. And then the other part of the opus numbers is it's roughly chronological if you know what their general opus number thresholds are. So, for example, Chopin, opus 9, this is early in his life. 72, posthumous, so after he died. 62, right near the end of his life. Correct. Opus 9, BWV. Yes, it's BWV, you're right. Opus 9 was his 9th album. That is technically correct. Here's the difference, though. It's kind of an ongoing number. So let's say I do Opus 1 and then I'm not happy with it. I may just trash that whole thing. Then my first thing is actually Opus number 2. And I write a piano sonata in Opus number 2. But then Opus number 3, I write string quartets. And then Opus number 4, I do a symphony. So you see what I'm saying? It ends up being more of a chronological viewpoint of the composer, not actually what necessarily order the individual set of pieces are. Because, for example, Chopin, this is a great statistic, he wrote the 21 nocturnes over 19 years of his life. So if you're ever feeling like, oh, I'm not doing very much, he only wrote basically 1 nocturne a year. So if you're ever like, oh, I'm not very good at writing music, think about that. It took him a year to make each of these nocturnes. Now, granted, he was doing other music at the same time, but again, we need a longer view. I'm all about de-heroizing music creation. Yes, definitely Bach was sponsored by BMW. That's totally true. Big car sponsored Bach. Steely Dan. Kiss the Rain. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to be out for now. It is 50 degrees here in Fahrenheit. I just realized, I think somebody freaked out about 50 degrees. I just realized you guys a lot are from Europe. Yes, I mean Fahrenheit. Freedom units. It is 50 degrees, which means it is warm and I need to go for a run. So I will be out. Thanks so much for joining. Like, subscribe, follow. It is all super helpful. Peace out. Take it easy, everybody. Bye.